8:30 a.m. football, Sunday morning. These London games are fun. These London games are fun because you just wake up and when you yawn and you take your morning coffee and your morning shit, next thing you know, you got football. And this week we got the Giants and the Packers. The Packers are considered the home team in this one. Green Bay barely got by New England last week, which was stunning because New England was on their third-string quarterback. I got to give Belichick a little credit here. To do what he did last week, that's good coaching. That team is built solid. They just need that. They just don't have enough high power receivers running. I mean, they're one or two pieces away. So don't overlook them. I give them a ton of credit for challenging the Packers last week. Giants are coming in. Didn't think they were going to pull off the win last week. Saquon Barkley looks good. I think the Packers are by far the better team. Aaron Rodgers is only going to get better as the week goes on. The Packers will win this game. Book it down. Write it down. Take a picture. I don't give a fuck. So it will be the Packers in the London game. Aaron Rodgers, he loves his shit. Now we go to the early games. These are your first half, noon, 1 o'clock, Western time, whatever you want. Falcons at Thomas Edward, Patrick Brady, and the Bucs, who just got humiliated at home. Well, I'll say humiliated, but they weren't really in it from the jump. The defense looked sloppy. They right the ship, no pun intended, against the Atlanta Falcons, who are better than people thought. I've been picking them almost every week. Go check the records. I think the Falcons are on their way, but not this week. Not without Cordero Patterson. Brady off a bad loss on primetime. The defense is going to lock down. Tampa will get the ball rolling again. This will look good. Chris Godwin will have a big game. Mike Evans will. It'll be a Leonard Fournette. It'll just be an overall balance. The Bucs get it done noon game. There you go. Then you got the Steelers, who are now it's the Kenny Pickett show. They put him in because Trubisky just didn't seem to have it rolling. And after 4 weeks, you get to really see what a team's like. So they're going to roll with the rookie, which I think is a good move. If they were 3-1 or 2-2, it wouldn't be as major. But the fact that they're 1-3 and they're just struggling, they're going to let this kid ride. And I think it's a smart move from the organization standpoint because the fans will get behind it more, knowing it's a rookie and rhythm. I think they focus on him, letting him rip. They're going to try to get Najee more involved, so they're going to move the ball around, right? But unfortunately for them, they go to Buffalo this week, Buffalo, they're arguably the best team in football. Them and Kansas City are right at the top of the ranks. So for that, it's just shitty timing because I think the Steelers will get it going. They have good coaching. I think they'll be decent by the end of the year, but right now they're just running into a buzzsaw at Buffalo. I don't think they're ready for it. Pickett will show some life. They'll show some more energy in the offense, but Buffalo will win this game. Book it. Now you got the Chargers at Cleveland. Cleveland Browns. I knew you guys weren't going to go into Atlanta. You guys have a good running game. Until you get Deshaun Watson back, this is just what it's life as a Brownie is going to be normal. And the Chargers are coming in. Herbert looks like he's okay. Quarterback play is going to factor. Chargers defense, running game. Eckler's starting to look like he's starting to get his legs under him. So the Chargers will go into Cleveland and win, taking the Chargers in this one. Now then you go to the Bears, fresh off their loss to the Giants at Minnesota Vikings, a rivalry game. The Vikings have not been as good as I thought, but they are 3-1, and they're hosting this game in the Dome. They're getting better, I think. They're working through some kinks. Dalvin Cook's healthy, which is key. Kirk Cousins is Kirk Cousins. If he's on primetime, they're dog shit. But if he is hosting just a regular game with the Bears just don't have enough. And I've been saying that since the beginning. They just don't have enough. They're trying to bring that 1980s football back, it feels like. So the Vikings will win this one. Book it down, write it down, the Vikings. Now, then you got the Lions, who might be the most intriguing team in football. One of the highest offenses, but they also are giving up a shit ton of points. And they're going, right now everybody's like, oh, their offense is legit. And they go to Billy Belichick and New England. In New England, Foxborough, I don't care who their quarterback is at this point. They seem to be able to ride it out no matter what. If anything, they'll just run the ball down the Lions' throat. This is a game where the Patriots, yes, the Patriots, I know the Lions are pretty popular right now because of Hard Knocks and then the high-scoring offense and everything. They're going to get outcoached. Belichick's going to shut down what he needs to shut down. He always does. I just think he's going to show Campbell on the other side what this team is like, and the fact that with it being in Foxborough, New England gets the job done. It'll be a sloppy, probably won't be the sexiest game you've ever seen, but Belichick will win this game. The Lions will go down again. Lions are getting there. Lions are getting there. Probably 1 to 2 more years. You keep the same system in place. You just got to tighten up that defense, man. I just see Belichick run it down their throat, play action, and just out-coaching defensively because Belichick's a defensive mastermind. And he's got Jared Goff. He'll be able to shut down those boys. They'll put up some – I think they'll have a couple big plays, but for the most part, New England wins. So I'm taking New England at home. Could be considered an upset pick just because of the Lions' height, but New England will get the job done. Seahawks at the Saints. I don't know if Jameis is back. Last week I picked the Saints thinking that I didn't know Jameis wasn't going to play or Alvin Kamara or Michael Thomas and all them weren't going to play. So I'm picking based on the assumption all those guys are going to be back. If all those guys play, yeah, Andy didn't look bad. Andy did not look terrible. Andy Dalton, that is, the Red Rocket. I'm taking the Saints at home in this one. Seahawks, good game, good victory in a high-scoring affair against the Lions last week, but now you're tightening up against a solid defense on the road down in New Orleans. And regardless of the quarterback play, they probably will get Michael Thomas back. I don't know about Kamara yet. Under the assumption that those boys play, it's going to be the Saints at home. Seahawks at Saints, taking the Saints. One, it's all approved. Dolphins. Where do I begin on the little Miami Dolphins going at the New York Football Jets? Zach Wilson's returning now. I don't know about you guys, but when I look at Zach Wilson, I just think of somebody that is not nice to waiters. I would not want to be his way. He feels like somebody that would like push your buttons. Very like, oh, did I got really? He would get like, he would have the most complicated order. He'd be kind of rude, be kind of short. He'd have his mom's girlfriends with him. And now he's got the Miami Dolphins with Teddy Bridgewater out the realm, Miami native, trying to take full advantage of this. Who knows how long Tua will be out? This is going to be a high-scoring game, I believe. I think the Jets are trying to prove themselves and air it out with all their wide receivers. Dolphins got the receiver, so it's going to be very, very wide receiver heavy. But I'm taking the Dolphins on the road. I think they make one more play than the Jets, whether it's defensively or offensively or special teams. It's going to come down to that. Zach Wilson is getting his feet under him. Any blonde dude from BYU that can wear a Rambo headband and get out there and bang his mom's girlfriends and do the dance. This, like I said, if he's your waiter at a restaurant, I'm curious to hear if you got any funny stories about this guy, because he just comes across as somebody that wouldn't be fun to deal with. But I'm taking they got their win last week at Pittsburgh, but Dolphins are going to come in. Teddy Bridgewater is a solid backup. He has enough. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, quick hitters, Tennessee. Nashville going into Washington to play the Commanders, Redskins. And which makes me sad because I picked Washington to be my upset NFC East Division winner. I know it's only 4 weeks, but it doesn't look good. It takes a minute. Carson Wentz might get the job done. But Tennessee they're starting to form into what they are. Derrick Henry heavy, play action. Robert Woods is starting to show some life. Tannehill's not making too many mistakes. Derrick Henry show running it right down their throat. Washington hasn't clicked yet. Tennessee's starting to take form. They have to get these victories. Derrick Henry has another 120-yard plus game, touchdown, maybe a couple receptions. Tannehill hits Treylon Burks. I hope you're okay, buddy. That did not look good last week. So best wishes to you, man. I hope you're all right. Titans will go into the Capitol and take this one. Tennessee strong. Tighten up, baby. And the final of the early 1 o'clock games, you have the Texans at the Jaguars. Texans seem to be right there every week. And so this game had me thinking, like, the Jaguars I feel are up and coming. They're definitely better than they were under the Urban Meyer era. And by the way, that guy. But anyway, so this will probably not go over well, but this is what I love about picking sports. I am going to take the Texans on the road. It's a rivalry game. These two are in the division. They're very, very, very familiar with each other. Texans have been teetering for a minute. And I just think that the Jags, after that tough, rough game at Philly last week that they gave away, they jumped out to an early lead. Philly just proved to be Philly, and they're a lot better than I thought. I believe and I feel that Jacksonville's just going to overlook this game because of who they're playing. And the Texans, they've been scrapping. They've been dogfighting. They've been staying in it. I think they go in there, and then they stun Jacksonville at home. They kind of wake the Jaguars up, and then you might see them propel. It's an early game, kind of, I guess you can call it a trap game. I see the Texans. I really want the Texans to get a win, man. I like Lovey. I really want them to get in there and do it. So I'm going to take the Texans to stun the Jaguars, and Jacksonville kind of wake them boys up.